All right, what are my labs after 8 years of carnivore? Well, I will tell you, I used it a small amount of just labs I can do at home. I'm using this device here. It's called a ForaCare multi-device reader, and it allows you to track multiple different things through the same monitor. Basically, there's little test strips you stick in there to change the data that's being entered. And so the things I checked today, just for the heck of it, were ketones. And so my ketones were 0.2 millimolar, which would be considered outside the range of nutritional ketosis. Normally you want to see something like 0.5. Some people will say 0.3. Nonetheless, often I hear people saying a carnivore diet is always ketogenic, and that's really not the case. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It depends a little bit on how many ketones you're producing versus how efficient you are at utilizing them. At this point, I'm pretty efficient at utilizing utilizing ketones for my energy source. And so I often don't register real high ketones unless I'm really fasting for a long period of time. Then they'll get up at higher, but I'm not, I'm probably 10 hours fasted, something along those lines. The next number I looked at was uric acid. My uric acid was 5.1. That is considered well within the range of normal. And despite the fact that I eat multiple pounds of red meat a day and have been doing so for years and years and years, again, eating red meat does not necessarily drive up uric acid significantly. And the association with red meat and gout is more a association that's more relevant if you are metabolically sick. I think that's what we've come to discover, is that gout is not just a uric acid issue, it is a overall metabolic health issue. And this is one of the signs. And typically when I was treating people for gout as an orthopedic surgeon, sometimes we'd operate on people with gout, they almost always had some combination of diabetes, prediabetes, or metabolic syndrome. So I think gout primarily is a expression of that, and the uric acid is kind of just one of the variables within there. Now the final one, which will be the most provocative one, was my total cholesterol. My total cholesterol was 270 milligrams per deciliter. That is considered high. Most folks would consider anything over 200. Some say 190 would be considered high. Now, my cholesterol typically runs, 220-ish, 230, something like that. I'd say that would be more of an average for me. The reason it is probably a little higher today is primarily because I'm leaning out. And as I get leaner and leaner and leaner, as I will over the coming next year or so, as my goals are to get down to about the 240, 235 range so I can be a better sprinter and jumper, I expect my cholesterol will probably go higher. And that's consistent with this so-called lipid energy model. This lipid energy model states that as you are low carb and you get leaner and leaner, you will just traffic more fat to supply the energy needs of your cell. It's perfectly consistent with what we know about human metabolism, or at least we're learning about that. The question is it inherently increasingly unhealthy? That, in my view, is still an unknown factor. Now we have more and more information. I know that Matt Budoff's research, the 1-year data was pretty compelling, or the baseline data was pretty compelling. The 1-year data has been submitted for publication. I don't have access to that data, but my friend Nick Norwitz, who is on that paper, says it's been submitted for submission for publication. I suspect we'll hear a little bit about that, about COSI. My gut feeling, and again, this is a gut feeling based on other people I've talked to, is it's going to show that no additional risk is seen, at least at that intermediate phase. And so we'll see over time. So anyway, that's what these 3 labs show. Many people will see similar numbers. I don't get too worried about how much ketones I produce, unless I was definitely trying to treat something therapeutically, which I'm not, then I might be more concerned about that. The gout stuff, uric acid, fine. And then the cholesterol, as we've talked about, this is really probably the biggest roadblock to larger adoption among physicians around carnivore diets is, what about the cholesterol stuff? And we're still figuring that stuff out. And I think, to be fair, I think for certain people, it's a risk-benefit scenario. And if you're profoundly sick and doing a carnivore diet clearly makes you better, improves your quality of life, then the trade-off may be worth it. If you're not that sick, maybe it won't be worth it, but it may turn out that it's no additional risk. But we just don't know yet. In 2025, in January, we don't know yet. That's probably going to take us a couple more years to figure that out. But I think we're getting more and more clarity And we'll see. We'll see what the 1-year data at Matt Budov has. It's going to give you another bit of information we can utilize. All right, let me know what you guys think. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.